great. I just did the entire card and now I'm live. I knew there was something wrong, you guys. So I did the entire card and I didn't hit play. I am so dumb. So here's the problem. Now I don't have my supplies because I just used them all on this card, but we're going to try it anyway. So, and you can see I'm still in a mess from the first one, but let me reorganize. I was actually on time, 1 o'clock, ready to start my video. And I did the entire thing. I cannot believe how dingbatty I am. Pat, I'm so glad to have you here. I was on at 1 o'clock. Okay, so bear with me. I'm gonna kind of shove some things out of the way and we're gonna redo this. And hopefully I have enough pieces nearby, but I'm gonna have to do a few extra cuts while I'm kind of putting things together. Okay, so we're gonna start with an Old Olive card base. Super easy. And we're going to need, I cannot believe I did that. Yeah, I can. I really can. You're going to need a piece of mint macaron, and we're going to cut that down to the right size. And you're going to need a panel of Pretty Peacock. We're going to cut that down to size as well. So bear with me. I'm going to grab my paper cutter since I totally royally blew it and didn't push play at the right time. See, I don't video very often. So let me grab it. It's right over here. It's 2 steps away. Ooh, sorry. Let me just share why I didn't share my video last week, which I had planned to do it last Tuesday at 1 o'clock. We had decided to change our floors, and I didn't know we were going to change them the next day. So I came out of my bedroom to find all of my furniture in the area where I stamp completely all stacked up, and it was like a game of Tetris. So our layers, our Pretty Peacock layer, which is going to be our main layer that we're going to cut the whole apparatus of our pop-up slider card into, is going to be 3 7/8 inches wide. What a stupid measurement, I know, but I don't know what I was thinking. And it's going to be 5 1/8 inches tall. So 3 7/8, 5 1/8. That's our Pretty Peacock. Our mint layer is going to be 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. And the reason I did such tight layers like that is because I wanted them to layer nicely on my card, and I really wanted to see a lot of that mint macaron, but I didn't want to cut too much of this away. I didn't want to go all the way to 3 1/4, so it was getting too small of the peacock color. So keeping things real easy here, we're going to fold our card base in half. Everybody can do that, right? Grab your bone folder. Yeah, where did I throw that in my first run through that wasn't recording? I want to know if anybody else has done that. Here it is. It's right here. Okay, so there's my card base. And my next layer here, the mint macaron, actually has been embossed. This one hasn't, but it gets embossed with the subtle embossing folder. We're going to pretend that it's done, okay? It is done in my first 2 cards. So this one here has the subtles in the mint macaron. And this one here has the mint macaron has been through the subtle embossing folder, as well as my Pretty Peacock layer. So this card's not going to have any embossing, but if you're wondering and you're looking at pictures on my blog of the original, you'll see that there is embossing on this mint macaron layer using the subtle embossing folder. Love this folder. Okay, so ta-da, it's done. Next step, let's take that piece and just do a quick layer of glue there to layer that on top of my Old Olive card base. Okay. Easy, super easy. Now we start getting a little bit technical with this next step here. This is where the trick comes in for the pop-up slider card, is using the stitched nesting dies. And we're going to use, I think that's like the second to smallest. I'm not 100% sure. But we're going to use that piece. And like I say, remember, I did this card from top to finish and destroyed my stamp space as I went along. So I'm not quite sure where I threw the other piece. It's a little funny. Hold on. Told you I destroyed the area. Oh, I found it. Okay, we're in the money. Okay, so this is the largest of the stitched nesting dies. Okay, and before we actually get going on this next step, there is one thing I want you to do, and that is to come in and actually measure and find the center. And I'm on my grid paper. I know I'm kind of out of the way of my video here, my camera, but I want a little tick mark that shows me where halfway point is. And I'm just going to do a little one. So because it's 3 7/8, I'm going to do it just inside the 2-inch mark. And if I had a pen, I would use a pen. I don't have a pen nearby because I pre-did my other one ahead of time. So I'm just using my pick tool to make a little scratch line, which is all it needs to be. I need to know where the center of one end is, okay? My other tool for making this next trick work nicely is a scrap of any old piece of cardstock. It doesn't matter what color it is, but it needs to be a 1/2 inch wide. A 1/2 inch wide. And I'm going to hold that, and I'm butting both the peacock and this posy purple right on top of my knuckles here. And I'm going to lay it on. Let me bring my Big Shot further into the screen here. I'm going to lay it. Oh, we got a nice glare. Okay, that's better. I'm going to layer it right onto my pretty peacock and onto my Big Shot platform. This is the magnetic platform. And I want to also be sure, this is where you have to kind of be a little bit fussy here, but I want to be sure that my paper is parallel to my platform. Okay, that's going to be important here in just a second. And then I also want to make sure that this piece here is lined up. You could put some washi tape on there if you wanted, but I'm not going to worry about it too much. Now, remember that little tick mark there? I'm going to actually put my fingers on here to kind of hold this in place, and I'm going to butt my die right up against that, almost like a bumper. And the reason I'm doing that is that's helping me find the center between these two sides. That's helping me get that center. And then I'm going to pull this up a little bit higher so that I can see that tick mark that I made for the center. And I want it to be aligned with that the point of my hexagon stitched shape. So now this can come away. You don't need this piece anymore now that you have the magnetic platform holding things in place. Next important cut is taking your top plate and placing this on top of, let me pull that out just a little bit further, the die, and you're going to cover about 3/4, maybe 7/8 of the entire die. You're going to leave this portion uncovered, so no plate here. So you're not going to cut through the top. What I'm going to do is I'm going to end up cutting just the 3 sides, I should say the sides and the bottom of my main cut here. So I'm going to run that through the Big Shot. And I'm not going to move this out of the way just yet because we have one more cut we need to do. So now what you see is that you have a cut where I've got my 3 sides and the top is still attached to my card base. So in the past, when we've made pop-up slider cards years and years ago, we would use our trimmer and we would trim and then we'd come across and we'd come up. But this is nice in that I did it in one cut and I'm getting a cool stitched effect on both sides because nothing has come away. Okay, I'm going to put my piece back in, keeping it parallel. And I'm going to bring that smaller piece in. Let me bring this around. There we go. That's better light as I pull away just a little bit. And remember that tick mark that I had made? I'm going to reach this and I'm just going to take a bite out of the top of my piece of Pretty Peacock. By the way, this is the top, this is the bottom. And I have that little notch there lined right up with the point of that stitched nesting die. This is gonna go on top, and I'm gonna cut that. Sorry for the wiggle there, folks. Okay, there it is. So now I have these beautiful cuts. You could use a punch. You could use different dies, same concept, where you just don't cut that top half out, or that top portion, I should say. But that right there is almost the entire nutshell of everything that is going to make this whole card come together. My next step is going to be, you're going to grab your Simply Scored tool. Let me bring that into view for you guys. And your Simply Scored tool, lay your Pretty Peacock piece up in the corner. Hello, Esther. It's good to have you here. I'm so sorry I was not here at 1 o'clock. If you heard, I actually did the whole thing and didn't press play. So, with your Simply Scored tool, take the stylus from the tool, and I want you to find, a groove in here. You don't have to actually know what the marking is, because everybody's is positioned just a little bit different. But there's right here at the corners of my stitch nesting die, I'm going to score just the middle section. Okay, so just that middle section is getting scored. Do not score the sides. Okay. Now I'm going to do the same thing to the top. So where the top is kind of meeting, I'm going to find one of those grooves, just kind of press, you'll find one, and score again between the cut lines. And then find the halfway point. It does not have to be exact. Find a groove, and there you have it. So now we definitely have the mechanics cut and scored for our entire mechanical portion of our pop-up slider card. For the folding of this, you're going to valley fold the bottom little lip. You're going to mountain fold the middle and valley fold the top. So your piece looks something like this right now. Let me kind of turn it around. Can you all see that? Sorry about the shadows. Take my hand out of the way, that helps. So you have valley, mountain, valley. Next step, grab your tear and tape and turn your little piece over that you've been working on. And you're going to put tear and tape in several key places. The first place and most important place is, and I'm going to repeat this just because we had some confusion the other day when I did this in class. You're going to run a piece of tear and tape across the top where that fold line is, but you're going to run it on top of the fold line, not on the inside, but on the top portion. So the edge of your tear and tape is going to lay right on that score line, okay? That is super important that that be placed in the right place. If you put it here, you won't get a pop-up. You will end up gluing it down. So you want that up there on the top like so. Next step with the tear and tape, since it's out, let's go ahead and put tear and tape down the two long sides and what I've been calling the bottom edge, okay? So we have tear and tape on these edges. And when I use tear and tape, I love the ease of literally the tear and that it's a tape runner. But do be sure to burnish it on entirely, and you'll be surprised how much easier these will peel right off. Okay, so I have a piece that is super important that we need for right here that I don't have because I used it in my video that was not really going. So I'm gonna use what's here. What I had for this next step, which is called, I call it the guide for the slide. And you need a 1/2 inch wide piece of scrap paper, computer paper weight. So our grid paper is the perfect weight for this. So let me bring my paper cutter back in and cut myself and it doesn't even have to be exact. I'm just gonna cut, approximately Oh, I need it a little bigger than that. A 1/2-inch strip of paper. And look, it's not even straight. That's okay though. I hope it's okay. We'll make it work. And you're gonna need your glue again. And in your supply list, I had you cut. This is the largest. So this is the exact same die that we used for this cut here. You can see it's the same shape. So I've used the same die to cut an old olive a full piece out. So take your scrap paper and you're gonna wrap your scrap paper around this. Come around this back side and give it a glue down. This step here, years ago when I made pop-up slider cards, I didn't do this step, and this step makes all the difference in the world. It's so important to do that step. I'm gonna rip that last little piece right off. Hi, Suzanne, it's good to see you. And Angie, it's great to have you all the way from Australia. That's so cool. Anyway, so I have this piece here that's kind of just wrapped around. No one's gonna see it, so it doesn't matter what it looks like. It doesn't matter that I've cut mine crooked, that I ripped some of it off. I'm just gonna slide it off for now and turn my paper over. And this piece, remember that top of the sliding mechanism, or the window rather, I'm going to adhere this piece right on top of that paper. And I want to make sure that it's evenly between these two pieces here. All right, that's super important. Now, if some of it shows down in here, just simply take your scissors, excuse me, sorry about that, and take a notch out. Oops, don't cut your paper, which I just did. Partly because I don't know where my glasses are, and so I've done this whole thing without glasses 2 times now. She's so daffy dumb. Okay, I'm gonna flip this back over, make you seasick. Your green piece is going to slide inside the guide. Oh, bad. Bad, bad, bad. It's gonna slide inside, and now I'm going to adhere these 2 layers together, and you're gonna adhere them together exactly lined up like so. That's the beauty of using a die for the mechanism of your pop-up slider card, is you know they're going to match up perfectly. So, but you need to put the glue in the right spot, and the spot is just on the bottom little triangle here. Do not put glue, do not pass go. Do not put glue past your score line. Keep it just on that bottom, what I'm gonna call triangle. Okay, so I'm gonna just kind of bring these 2 together and let that set up. And so now what you can see is, if this piece were anchored down to my card, is this gives us our pop-up action. Can I get an ooh ah? Okay, next step, while we're here, I'd like to grab my hole punch, since it's kind of exposed still, and this being exposed, that it's not glued onto my paper just yet, makes it accessible that I can put that hole punch in there. Any size hole punch is totally fine. Okay, next step, let's bring our card base back in. Make sure we're gluing the right direction here. And I'm gonna pull off all of these, the tear and tape from the sides. Okay. Thanks, Pat gave me the ooh ah. You know, that's what good friends are for. I miss Pat. She used to live here in San Jose for many, many years and is now in northern Utah. Okay. Okay, so I have my tear and tape all ready, and this is going to layer on this top mint macaron layer like so. Ooh, and it's super sticky. And again, no glasses. Okay, so now you really, without having to hold it, can see how that sliding action is gonna work. So our next layers for the card front itself are going to be, we have another stitched nesting die. This is 1 size smaller than the large. And I've cut this out of the In Color Designer Series paper. So you get the 5 colors. This is the Pretty Peacock. And you can see that it's got the scripty design on one side and kind of a quatrefoil design on the other side. Either way is great. I have a little bit of catch right there. A little bit of tear and tape, so I'm going to need to do a little work right there with some adhesive remover. Anyway, going on, this piece here will layer like so, and let me show you exactly where it's going to go. You're going to only put adhesive on this middle section right here. None on the upper, none on the triangle. Okay, just right there like so. Everybody with me? Now, once you have that, like so, you're going to layer the that piece in there, nice and easy. Just aligning all your cool stitched nesting effects going on. I will say the very first time I made this card, I actually put a dimensional because I love dimensionals. I put a dimensional under here, and I decided that when you pulled it, it kind of buckled funny. So it's better just to let that bottom section kind of float around. So that way sorry I'm making y'all seasick, when you pull this kind of moves with it and it doesn't kind of stick and pull at the same time. So just learn from my mistake. So that will be the start, or I'm not even the start. We're far past the start. This is the midpoint now of our layers and our fun little pop-up slider mechanism. Next is going to be creating the focal point. So our focal point starts with one of the stitched round shapes, and I've used the largest of the stitch shapes. Hi, Kat. It's good to see you. I will see you on Thursday at class. Anyway, so this is the stitch labels, and it's Whisper White, and I am going to use the largest stamp, the hydrangea, if I can find it. Excuse the arm, I didn't want to reach across. This is the hydrangea stamp from the Beautiful Friendship stamp set. This is a gorgeous, super, super beautiful stamp set. Man, you cannot go wrong when you stamp this. I love it to pieces. So Beautiful Friendship, and I am actually gonna make a blue hydrangea. And so funny that Pat is with us here today. Pat had in her house in San Jose lots of beautiful hydrangeas. And she would tell me how she would get the different colors. And I actually really, really, really love the blue and green ones, partly because they dry so nicely. So I've inked up in Pool Party, and now I'm going to actually use an old stippling brush to grab some mint macaron ink. I've just kind of pounced my brush in the ink. You can use a Stampin' Sponge or a sponge dauber, but mine are in really bad condition. So I'm using a stippling brush to just add a little bit of green ink here and there on my hydrangea to give it a lot of different looks. I'm gonna huff on it to invigorate those colors and stamp directly on my circle piece here. Pretty, don't you think? I think that is super pretty. I love that it's a distinctive style stamp. So you saw that, I only stamped it one time, that we're getting lots of dimension in our stamp image here with some highs and lows, some darks and lights. And then adding that second color really gives us a pretty, pretty start to my focal point. Now, I'm gonna hope that I have everything here since I already made the card one time. I know what I won't have. I won't have the berries, but that's okay. We'll do it without. Next piece that we're gonna need. I think this is the second to smallest. I can't totally remember, but this is Pool Party, and I've cut a panel using those stitch nesting dies, and it's going to layer on my card front focal point like so. And I'm going to use my Stamparatus here. I really like the Stamparatus in that, man, it allows you to do some really cool things. And so what I want to do now is take that piece that I just had, and I'm going to kind of set that right here on my Stamparatus. I kind of already know where to set it, but I'm gonna layer it in there like so. And I'm going to clean my image because I'm actually gonna do two different coats of ink on this. So my first is going to be Pretty Peacock. Okay, and the Pretty Peacock is going to come down and stamp that greeting beautifully. I can see I'm a little lighter over here and darker. So that's the nice thing. I can come back in and add a little bit more color and stamp it again to get it just, beautiful, beautiful. Anyway, so now I've got all that beautiful, rich color. I'm going to use my Stampin' Chamois. I bleached mine. It's now white instead of purple. Little Clorox spray. Didn't know it would do that. And I'm going to grab my Versamark ink. My Versamark ink is going to come in here, and this is going to allow me to emboss with and add some sparkle here. So layering that color right on top might give it just a little bit more to really get it nice and heavy coverage on the pigment ink there. Now this piece here, I'm going to emboss it. Excuse me while I kind of toss the Stamparatus to the side. This piece is going to get embossed. I'm going to heat emboss it with a mixture of Dazzling Diamonds and clear embossing powder. And I've used this mixture for, I usually add more into this. This is getting kind of thin, but I do more clear powder to Dazzling Diamonds glitter. And I'm going to emboss this, and I could have done the whole, put the embossing buddy on there first for static, but oh well. Anyway, just flick those edges off. What this will do is give me some, some Dazzling Diamonds glitter and clear at the same time. This is a lot like the new shimmering white embossing powder that we have. I have it in black, but I don't have it in the white, so I'm going to be curious to see it, but because I like sparkle. Anyway, here goes. Sorry for the noise, but watch the magic. That's so pretty. So this step here, you may not have seen it on the actual card on my blog post, but now you do see that you have this rich, Pretty Peacock ink color that has a little bit of that, it has the feel of embossing, so it's glazed, but it has the glitter running through it. Love that step. Let's add a couple dimensionals to the back of that. Ooh, coming in left-handed. Toss those to the side. And this is going to layer onto my circle. And I'm just going to kind of put this down here. And next I'm going to add a couple leaves. And this here is vellum. You can kind of hear it and see it. But it's from the Perennial Essence Suite. It is vellum. It comes in 3 colors. It comes in Petal Pink, Old Olive, and So Saffron. And this is the Old Olive. And this is the leaf punch. And so I'm going to punch myself 2 leaves, like so, to add to my focal point. And I'm going to use just a little bit of my green cap glue. The end is getting a little bit sticky. So picking up my leaves. Whoo. And there are 2 sides to this. This side is lighter than the other side. There's a little more sheen. So I'm actually gluing the back so that I have kind of the shinier side facing me. This is going to tuck inside, and then I just kind of give a push down so that it kind of catches, so that glue adheres to something. Slide that one in. Now the piece that I know I'm missing for this card, but I'll add it later, is this is one of the pieces from the first Frost set of dies, and it's a berry spray, which I think is super, 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 super pretty. And you can see it's here. And so what I've done is literally just cut one out of silver glimmer paper, and then it tucks right inside there. So I'll have to do that later since I don't have the piece with me anymore that I made it on my other card. Few dimensionals on the back. And I do just 3. I think it's plenty to hold this together. Pull those off. And then I'm going to layer it onto my card front, like so. So we're nearing the end to our card front, but we have a few more layers still to add. This is a piece of another piece from the Designer Series paper, the 2019-21 in colors. So here was the Scripty font, and here is the gingham. Hi, Ashley. Like my bracelet? And then here is kind of the stitched diamonds on the back side that I'm not using today. This piece here, I'm going to add this. When I was making this card originally, I wanted more Designer Series paper on here. I wanted a little bit more interest going on. And so I wanted to put a piece of Designer Series paper to the front, but I didn't want it to interfere with the mechanisms. So what I'm going to do is slide this piece through the middle there, and it's going to kind of come up to the top, and when I adhere it, and I'm going to kind of move this, let me put this down, it'll be easier to see. I'm just going to put glue up here where I know it's going to go, and on this side. Okay, no glue in the middle. Okay, no glue in the middle. Why? Because then your slider won't move. But this way, if your paper is up high enough, okay, and you glue down just the sides, you will still be able to pull on that mechanism and it's still free. Yet we have a little bit of interest here by adding this second layer. Now, my card on this one here, I actually have a piece of sparkling glimmer paper that's the white, but I also have a piece of gold nearby from a previous class, and this one's going to layer just under like so. And to actually make this a little bit more dimensional, and it's one of those things that it doesn't really matter and when you're just looking at the front, but if somebody really picks up the card and examines it, this layer I'm actually going to put underneath the olive. This one's between, this one I'm going underneath. So I'm going to it's okay if you glue the whole thing on this one because you're going underneath. Pick that whole thing up and just slide it right underneath. Okay, now I have extra glue here, but just wipe that away. And then when this dries, get your adhesive remover and take your mistakes out. No one's gonna know but you. And then those will go away and be beautiful. So front now needs embellishments. And what I have is remnants. This is the olive twine from the Memory Lane ribbon pack. And you can see I am almost completely out. I'm gonna need every bit of this. And I also have the Mint Macaron 1/4 inch textile ribbon. And this is beautiful because it too has some sheen to it. So I like, if you can't tell, I like sparkle, I like glimmer, I like shine. It is a color family all on its own in my world. So I'm going to take the mint and work that through the top and give a little bit of a chop right in here. So I have these two tails, and then I'm going to take that twine and I'm going to tie it around. Now my twine's not really long enough because I like a much longer, bigger bow, but I'm out. So I'm actually just going to tie this one in a knot. Use them what you have. So if you've just joined me, I noticed Kayleen, you've just joined me. I did the whole card and I didn't press play. So now I'm using scraps on the table to put this one together. So there is, and I'll probably add, maybe take this one off, but I wanted you to at least see, I'll probably add a different twine to that I can find. So, because I do want a bow on that. So then to finish with embellishments, these are the faceted gems that come in the in colors. I love these because they match those in color papers perfectly. You get all 5 colors. And I'm going to take the big one, and the big one's going to kind of come and nest right in here. Then the little guy, and he's going to set there. And then one of the mediums is going to hang out over here on the card. Now, this front is almost complete. There is one, minus its silver berries, there is one step missing, and that would be, and I know I don't have the piece right now because it's, you know, I'm making another one, is we do have one more step inside, and that is the greeting that goes inside the slider itself. So for that, I've cut a Whisper White stitched nesting die using the same size as the one that's on my pop-up element here. This one right in here, same size. You just tuck it in there, reach it in, and glue it. Once it's in place, then stamp this. Esther says, are you going to do anything inside the slide part? So yeah, I think you maybe typed that before I got to this. So yes, this does go inside here. Again, I'm missing that panel because I used it in the other card that I just made. But yeah, do be sure to stamp. Not, I would wait to have your stuff assembled. You can still get in there with a stamp. I'm not going to really stamp this, but you can see I can get in there and stamp. You want to do that so that you know you've got the right placement and that you don't go, oh man, it doesn't show all the way if you get it too high. It just allows you to have that show exactly where you want it to be. So, and I think that this card front is really, really pretty. So I originally made this as just kind of a card front where it was interactive, but I wanted to make it an actual card that opens. And when I did, I found that the card front itself was really, really front heavy. The weight of the card was totally out of balance with the back, physically out of balance. So I've added this inside panel. And for that inside panel, I have cut one of the stitched rectangles. This is the largest rectangle from the stitched rectangle framelits. To me, these rectangle framelits are like having the perfect pair of black pants or a little black dress. You need this in your stash of supplies, of tools. It's like a really good pair of scissors or a die cutting machine. This set of dies, love them. Use them a ton. So I'm going back to the beautiful Friendship stamp set to stamp the inside and create something beautiful. And I'm going to start with that hydrangea stamp image again, going into the pool party. And I'm going to grab more of that mint macaron, pounce some of that color, give a huff. And I'm just going to add a little bit of ink there, turn my image, and get a little bit going here to kind of set the tone for the inside of my card. Next, I like these cabbage roses. I don't know if you can kind of see them. Whoops. Oh, okay, good. And I'm going to do those in Pool Party. And I'm just going to kind of lay them in different places. Maybe, I think I'm going to take this one, I'm going to stamp off and kind of tuck it up into here. Okay. And I like these cabbage. I'm going to do these cabbage also in the Pool Party. I know you're going, no, what's all Pool Party? What's going on here? Put those right down in there. And then add some leaves to it. I love both of the leaves from this stamp set. One's the trio and the duo. So my leaves are all going to be in the mint macaron. And you know, you're just adding those where they seem to naturally tuck. So I'm going to go there. I'm actually going to maybe bring one into here like it's coming from something else. And maybe do the duos there. Stamp this one off since this rose is stamped off. Pop it up in there. And then this last piece, this floral image, I'm not even quite sure what this is. And in my video that wasn't really taping, I had said, you know, I work for a florist and I don't even know what this is. So somebody can help me with what this is supposed to be. But in the Pretty Peacock, I'm bringing that color back in. And I'm going to just lace some of this in. I love this full strength in front of that because it starts to give me dimension, like it's hanging in the garden further forward than the roses towards the back. And, you know, just kind of, you know, lacing these through, you know, where are they going to come from? Where are they going to be? But I don't think I'm going to put them in the middle on that one. But maybe stamp this one off and bring it in from here. and then maybe just a teeny bit there. But keep going and have some fun. Maybe on this one here, I didn't kind of go up quite as high, leaving myself a little bit more space for a greeting. I'm going to huff on this and... Oh, don't like that. So I'll just put a leaf kind of in here too. Anyways, so just have some fun layering some beautiful flowers in there. Then this needs to glue inside our card front or inside the card so that it helps the actual, excuse the spinning around here, helps the physical weight of the card. And there you have it. So if you actually make one of these, you will feel the difference that you do need a layer inside here. I don't always design the inside of my cards, but there is a definite benefit to it. Hey, we get to keep stamping and having some fun, which is what we like to do, right? But at the same time, it gives you a white panel to write nicely on and to make it very visible rather than trying to write on the green. So this one, not quite done. It needs a tuck of the sparkle inside. It needs its bow and it needs an inside greeting. But here is the finished that I did earlier with all of the embossing. Do it or don't do it. It's totally pretty either way. And this one also has its inside greeting in the pop-up slider. If you have any questions, shoot me, message me on Instant Messenger on Facebook. I'm happy to help you with some tips and tricks on this if you need a little bit more answers to any of your questions. I'm so glad you were here with me today, and sorry I was late and a little on the goofy side, but I look forward to catching up with you guys next time. Thanks.